didn't wear a suit, but I wore my Ukrainian blouse. Good evening. As you've heard, my name is Darcia Moskaluk-Rutkay. I am the National President of the Ukrainian Women's Association of Canada, the oldest Ukrainian women's organization in Canada, as we are 99 years strong. We celebrate 100 years next year. I am Canadian born of immigrant parents. I was brought up Ukrainian in a North American world. Let me tell you, it wasn't easy. My upbringing included intense knowledge of everything Ukrainian. We were taught history that was never offered in Canadian schools. The privilege of living in Canada shielded us from conflict, war, and oppressive regimes, which never directly affected us, but our parents and leaders ensured that we were not naive. In 1991, I experienced my parents' tears of joy when Ukraine attained her independence, and together with my children, we celebrated. On the night of February 23rd, 2022, February 24th in Ukraine, I attended a Zoom meeting of Ukrainian Canadian organization with Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, Chrystia Freeland, the Deputy Prime Minister, plus others. At this meeting, we were informed that indeed Ukraine was going to be attacked by Russia. It was surreal. When Chrystia Freeland in Ukrainian told us, together as Ukrainians, we will overcome. We heard it was about to happen, but was it really? Our trauma became real less than an hour later. As we informed our memberships via Zoom, our computers burst forth the headlines. The unbelievable had occurred. The attack upon Ukraine had begun. Ukrainians in the diaspora were in shock. The unbelievable had occurred, and I mean, we were in shock. We still had family living there. For weeks thereafter, we walked in a stupor, checking in on our European family before we had our morning coffee. It was a nightmare. March 1st, 2022, I received this email. Dear Ukrainian women, in these difficult days, we stand with you. We would like to collect necessary items for women and children, but need further direction and information. We are looking forward to hearing from you. Best, Nazila. Thus started our relationship with the Azerbaijani Women's Support Center. They traveled a great distance to our place of worship, delivering much needed funds. They offered their services to us in any capacity that we may need. Their compassion and empathy was not lost upon us, as they had in recent times experienced the terror of a Russian interference. I was amazed. All of us in Canada had less than 10,000 Azerbaijani women and people, and here they were extending their arms to help us. Thus, the Azerbaijani Women's Support Center had shaken the Ukrainians out of their shock, helped open our eyes, and pushed us forward. It was time to make decisions. It was time to make plans. The women of AWSC knew what was needed. They were a step ahead. Indeed, their donation was the very first which was received by our organization. The Ukrainian women of our association spun into action. Collections of clothing funding began immediately. The opening of immigrant-only free stores popped up with free household items, furniture, clothing, and so on. Partnering with Canada-Ukraine Foundation, Ukrainian Canada Congress, the Red Cross, organizations provided kiosks at major airports to assist and welcome the Ukrainians, speaking their language, providing the tools and guidance for immediate lodging and personal needs. Immediately, over a period of a few months, 210,000 women and children arrived directly from Ukraine to Canada. The need of assistance was dire. Some came with only the shirts on their backs. Women from every walk of life arriving in both remote rural areas to densely populated urban areas, from Newfoundland through the territories and across the country into BC. Professionals, educated people, not educated people, housewives, not that they weren't educated, farmers, young students, and more, not possessing the language skills required to adequately enter a French-English country. But they did. To date, 1,189,320 applications have been received by the Canada-Ukraine Authorization for Emergency Travel, a temporary travel visa program, of which 9,062 have been accepted. Most arrived in extreme shock. Speaking individually with many of them, they indicated that the noise in their head was out of control, loud and wild. Focus was difficult for them. Their anxiety was alarming as they panicked about their loved ones left to fight in this genocidal war. Sorrow overwhelming with their personal losses. No words could soothe them, but hearing their language helped. As many of you know, Canada is a difficult place to settle. For many, it seemed as if they had attained their dreams. These dreams soon to be shattered by the reality of North American life. Mental disabilities, rules, laws, requirements to lifestyles of the Ukrainians. The incoming immigrants flooding our communities, our churches, our schools. Yes, some were met with animosity, but most were embraced by the Canadians with help of different programs such as are available in the programs provided by AWSC. There are many stories of survival in the Canadian mosaic. Settling in remote centers such as Newfoundland, Yukon territories, the mountainous regions of Alberta and BC, these women and girls of war demonstrated and continue to demonstrate their resilience. Overcoming economic hardship, mental anguish, physical disabilities, they found assistance in Canadian society. With heartbreak, yet with admiration, I watch, most Sundays, a professor of biology from a university in Ukraine dash out of church week after week to ensure her timely arrival to her housekeeping job at a major hotel. I asked, why did you not apply to the university here? She indicated that her English skills were not strong enough to continue instructing in the academic field here in Canada. Besides, her young children needed her attention to better their skills and homework as she supplies a roof over their heads and food into their bellies. Her husband serves on the Ukrainian front. She now has joined a mother's group associated with her children's youth group, ensuring that her children participate with other Ukrainian Canadian children in our youth groups. Through the internet, she continues with her academics. Her language skills are improving, but it is a slow process. With all other obligations, she dreams of uniting her family and returning to a free and safe Ukraine. In my travels throughout Canada, I encountered women from all walks of life. They recounted stories how the influx of thousands of Ukrainians to the centers where they lived resulted in rent prices, once very affordable in St. John's, Newfoundland, now were beyond Toronto prices and now unattainable. How they were not receiving the same pay for the same work only because they were on the QIT program. Their stories were the same throughout Canada. Many professional women were doing manual labor for half the price or less of what a Canadian would obtain. I must say that these women are resilient. Their beginnings here were frightening, bleak, and difficult. I do know that all these women have excelled towards their chosen professions and are doing much better. They are resilient. There are thousands of these stories. We applaud those who came with the ability to delve into business, into the business world, overcoming their hardships. These women sorted through the requirements to begin businesses, introducing the Canadians to their talents, many turning to the kitchens to produce culinary specialties and donate all or some of the proceeds to the armed forces of Ukraine. After all, this is how our homes of worship were built here in Canada, and we have many. Not all women are able to super excel, but they overcome. They find help for their anxieties, their physical ailments. Their sorrow is great. Women in Ukraine and Canada are determined to survive, to overcome adversity, to save their children. And I have to say this because we all know what happens here. Children who are forced into deportation to Russia and indoctrinated, stripped of their Ukrainian heritage. This can be, we cannot be quiet about this any longer. Since 2022, over 700,000 children have been involuntarily transferred. This is criminal and it must stop. But I digress. We read and are made aware of women in Ukraine who are currently serving in the armed forces of Ukraine. There is no mandatory military draft for women, yet currently there are over 62,000 women serving, of which 45,500 hold military positions. This is the largest ever recorded of serving women in the world. With unwavering determination, this is the largest ever recorded of serving women in the world. Many have been killed, their physical challenges into triumph of this human spirit. Even the brave struggle, reminding us that acknowledging our mental health challenges does not diminish our strength. It reveals our humanity. With continued support, determination, and courage, life's most daunting obstacles can be overcome and finding new purposes are possible. I congratulate the Azerbaijani Women's Support Center for 20 years of service. Your dedication to the well-being and empowerment of all women through the community, engagement, information, resources, social, educational, and cultural activities transcending your own immediate community, reaching out and assisting those in need, regardless of who they are, all to produce positive change. Thank you.